London is one of the fastest growing areas here in Corpus Christi, and on the surface, it might sound like the perfect place to live, but if you don't understand the real pros and the cons, then you could end up in a neighborhood that looks great at first, but isn't the right fit for you and your family. Hey everyone, I'm Lezli Milner, your local Corpus Christi realtor, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down everything from top-rated schools and half-acre lots to higher price tags and traffic headaches, so that way by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what life in London is really like and if it's the right move for you. One of the biggest advantages of living in London is the lot sizes. In most parts of Corpus, especially on the south side, you're gonna see new homes crammed onto the smaller lots, sometimes so close you can almost reach out and touch your neighbor's house. Now, London is a little bit different. Here, it's common to find half-acre lots, and in some neighborhoods, you're going to even see acre-sized properties. And that extra space just gives you options. So if you have been dreaming of adding a pool, an outdoor kitchen, or even having a detached shop, you actually have the space to do that here. And families with kids and pets love it too, because you're not sacrificing your backyard just to get a newer home. Now, the other thing is privacy. On the south side, a lot of the new construction feels very cookie cutter with rows of homes stacked very closely together. And in London, even if you're in a subdivision, the wider lots mean that you don't feel as boxed in. And that is a big deal for some people moving here from larger cities who want just a little more breathing room. And of course, the bigger lots come with a trade-off, which is going to be more maintenance. You're going to have more grass to mow, more landscaping to keep up with, and in most cases, septic systems instead of city sewer. And that's something that I'm going to talk a little bit more about in the cons section, but it's worth keeping in mind even as a pro because the space comes with responsibility. Another big reason families are looking to move to London is the schools. London ISD is consistently ranked as one of the best in the region, and that reputation alone drives a lot of demand for the homes here. It is a smaller district, which means smaller class sizes, more one-on-one attention, and a close-knit community feel. For parents, that often translate into feeling like your child isn't just a number in a huge school system. But here's the flip side. London is a single campus district, so that means that there's only just one elementary, one middle school, and one high school. Now, for some families, that's actually a pro because it creates consistency and a strong sense of community. Your kids are going to grow up with the same group of classmates, and the district tends to have really engaged parents and staff. But for other families, though, that setup can feel a little restrictive to them. If you're the type of parent who wants to choose between multiple campuses, or you're going to want programs that are only offered at bigger schools, then London might feel a little limiting to you. But the good news is that you're not locked in. There are several private options just a short drive away. So families who want alternatives still have choices without giving up on living in London. But at the end of the day, if having access to one of the top rated districts is a priority, then London checks that box. But if variety and multiple school options are more important to you, then it's something to think about before making the move. One of the biggest things drawing people to London is all the new construction homes. If you drive through the area right now, you're going to see entire neighborhoods going up, everything from entry-level homes to fully custom builds. For buyers, that means options. Now, these homes are built with modern layouts that today's buyers are looking for, with open floor plans, energy-efficient features, smart home technology, and plenty of natural light. Now, many builders here are also offering incentives, whether that's helping with closing costs, interest rate buydowns, or customization options if you catch a home early enough in the build process. Now, something that stands out though about London compared to other parts of Corpus is the lot sizes on these new homes. While a lot of the south side subdivisions with new homes have been packed onto narrow lots, in London you're going to find builders putting homes on wider and deeper lots. And of course, with new construction comes some trade-offs, right? Like dealing with ongoing construction around you for a while, but overall the ability to buy or even personalize a brand new home in a growing area is one of the biggest pros of choosing London. Another big advantage of living in London is that even though you're a little further out, you're still close to everything that you need. For most neighborhoods in London, you're only about 10 to 15 minutes from the south side, which is where you're going to find major shopping, grocery stores, medical offices, restaurants, and entertainment. Now that makes London a great middle ground for people who want a little more space and a quieter setting without feeling isolated. And you don't really have to sacrifice convenience. You're still close enough to get to work, run errands, or grab dinner without making it a long drive. Now, for families, the location is also pretty practical because you've got quick access to the schools, the youth sports, and community activities on both the south side and in London itself. And if you need to work downtown or need to access the other parts of Corpus, you can usually get there in about 20 to 25 minutes depending on traffic. So you're not cut off from the city by any means. You're just getting the benefit of living in a growing community with more space while still being connected to the larger Corpus area. The last pro that I want to touch on is that London doesn't require flood insurance. If you're looking at properties on North Padre Island or even parts in Flower Bluff, flood zones are a real concern there, and flood insurance can add thousands of dollars per year on top of your mortgage. And in London, because of its location and the higher elevation compared to coastal areas, most of the homes here are not in flood zones. So that means the only insurance that you're going to typically need here is your standard homeowner's policy along with your windstorm coverage. One of the biggest downsides to living in London is the price point. Homes here often come with a premium compared to other parts of Corpus. So if you're looking to move here for a property on half an acre lot or more, you can expect prices starting around the $600,000 range, and they go up from there. Even the homes on smaller lots tend to cost more because of the demand for the area. And on top of that, London doesn't offer much variety when it comes to housing types. It's almost entirely single-family residences. You're not going to find townhomes or apartments, and even the resale options are limited since it's such a new community. And the homes that do come up for resale are usually just a few years old, and most of the time that same home you could get brand new from the builder with incentives, or they are going to be the larger, more expensive properties in the Gemini Acres, Coves at Laga Vista, and similar subdivisions. And that's a big factor for buyers who may just want a starter home, or for people looking to downsize. London doesn't really cater to that market unless you're open to buying a D.R. Horton or a Lennar home, since they are the most affordable options at the moment. Now, for now, it's a community geared towards homeowners who want newer homes, larger lots, and who are comfortable paying a higher price point for those features. So while London offers a lot of benefits, it's not the most budget-friendly option here in the coastal bend, and it's not ideal if you're looking for a variety of housing choices. Another drawback to living in London is the lack of retail and dining options right in the area. Most residents end up traveling out for everyday essentials, groceries, or entertainment, and the closest H-E-B is about 15 minutes away, which doesn't sound too bad, but when you're used to having a grocery store or restaurants just around the corner, that extra drive can feel inconvenient at times. And at the moment, London really only has a couple of small retail centers that cater to local businesses, and there is a new community church coming to the area, but beyond that, there isn't much to choose from. So if you want to go out for dinner, grab a coffee, or do your shopping, you're going to likely be heading to the south side or other parts of Corpus. Now, the flip side to this is that the area is still developing. With how fast London is growing, there's a good chance that we're going to see more retail and restaurants move in over time. But as of right now, if you want that convenience of having everything just right around the corner, then London doesn't offer it just yet. Since London is still in the beginning of its growth phase, you can expect to see construction everywhere you turn. New neighborhoods are being built out, retail is slowly starting to pop up, and the infrastructure is trying to keep up. That means you're going to have ongoing noise, dust, and heavy equipment for the foreseeable future. And it's not just homes either. With the area still developing, the roads themselves are going to be a challenge. Most of the main roads in London are only one lane in each direction. So when you combine that with construction traffic and school drop-off or workday commutes, congestion can build up pretty quickly. And if you're not used to sitting in that kind of traffic, it can definitely get frustrating at times. And while construction is happening all over Corpus, the difference with London is that it is just beginning. Growth here is expected to continue for years, so you have to be prepared for prolonged periods where construction is simply part of your everyday life. Now, for some people, that's not a big deal, but for others, it can be a major downside. One thing you definitely want to factor in with London is the property taxes. Here in Texas, we don't have a state income tax, so local governments rely heavily on the property taxes to fund schools, roads, and services. And because homes in London are newer and often higher in value compared to other parts of Corpus, those tax bills can feel pretty steep at times. But something a lot of buyers don't know is how property taxes work with new construction homes. When you first buy the home, the taxes are usually assessed based on the value of the land only. Now, since the home hasn't been completed yet, that can make your first tax bill look surprisingly low. But once the appraisal district updates the records to include both the land and the completed home, your taxable value jumps to reflect the full market value. So that means your property tax bill in the following year can increase significantly, and it's something for you to plan for up front. But the good news is that you can protest your property taxes every single year, and many homeowners here do that to help keep them manageable. But there's also something else to be aware of. There's a proposed tax increment reinvestment zone for London, and if it goes through, it would redirect part of the tax revenue back into the infrastructure and the development in the area. While that could be beneficial long term, it's still something to keep on your radar as a homeowner. And I'll be sure to link the local news article in the description with more details if that's something you're interested in checking out. One of the other cons that you're going to hear about London is how quickly the farmland is disappearing. Just a few years ago, most of what you see here was wide open fields, and now those same areas are turning into subdivisions. Now, for some locals, that change is tough to watch because the rural character that defined London is being replaced with new homes and streets, but it's not just about losing open land, it also creates some practical issues. Since everything around here is still so open, you're going to deal with more dust, bugs, and even rodents compared to more established areas like the Bay Area or even the South Side. And this isn't just something that you're going to hear about, it's something that you'll see too. If you go walk through some of these homes, especially the ones that have been sitting for a little bit, you're going to notice the dust building up, the bugs, and even the spider webs on the back porches. But that's really just the reality of building on what was farmland. Now, for buyers, this may not be a deal breaker for you, but it is important to know what to expect. Now, if you're used to mature neighborhoods with established landscaping, then London can feel a little rougher around the edges until the community fills out just a little bit more. The last thing to keep in mind with London is that most of the larger lots require septic systems instead of being tied into the city sewer. Now, communities like King's Landing and London Town are connected to city sewer, but once you get into the half-acre and acre-sized properties, you're most likely going to be on septic. Now, for a lot of buyers who haven't lived on a septic system before, this can be a bit of an adjustment. It's not overly complicated, but it does require some extra responsibilities, and you're going to need to make sure it's maintained and pumped regularly, and just be mindful about what goes down the drains. If it's not taken care of properly, then repairs can get expensive. So while septic systems aren't necessarily a bad thing, they are something that you're going to need to budget for and maintain. And it's definitely a trade-off. Yes, you get a bigger lot and more space, but it does come with some additional upkeep that you wouldn't have in neighborhoods tied directly into city sewer. So now you know the real pros and cons of living in the London community. For some people, it's exactly what they've been looking for: larger lots, great schools, and new construction homes. For others, the price point, taxes, and ongoing construction might make it less appealing. Either way, I'm not here to convince you to move to London. Most people who reach out to me have already decided where in Corpus Christi they want to be. They just want to make sure they end up in the right neighborhood for their lifestyle and their budget. Now, if that sounds like you, I'd be happy to walk you through your options and help you figure out if London really is the best fit. You'll find my contact information in the description below, and if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of my weekly videos about living here in Corpus. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.